Oh yeah, by the way, we are also on Twitter today too. I went on
Ooh.
and did that, or I refuse to call it by the letter. So we're
So
on
we're
Twitter
being
today.
twatted today.
I'm twatting, so yes.
We're
All
twatting.
right, looks
Okay.
like we are live. Someone's watching. So what's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to episode 211. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. My name, of course, is Drew or the DH, and that, of course, is Scott Rappaport, and a dingo ate his baby.
A dingo ate my
Dingo
baby.
ate
You know
my
what that is
baby.
for our Australian friends.
Yes.
You
Mine's
know,
just to let you finish the last part because everyone else has to finish that slogan. So
yeah,
that's
it ain't
just
gonna
for
be
you to
me.
do. Yeah.
So here's it. So like we already have like we just went live and we've already got comments that popped up before we even went live. And Chris, thanks for
Yeah.
the comment. We are actually going to be discussing that
Yes.
as our first topic today.
Yeah.
So
We
we will.
also have, guys, a major exclusive today that we have some exclusive a report, basically an update on something that we've been following. If you listen to the show regularly, we've been following it for a long time. Well, I had quite the interesting conversation and got some amazing photographs that as of 5 minutes ago I just got the text. I wanted to tell you this. I'll tell you on the air, but yes, I do have permission to share the photos that I was given.
So here's my big question with that is if you're not a regular listener of the show, not a regular watcher on YouTube, what the hell is wrong with you?
I would agree with that. I would agree.
Yeah.
But we do have an awesome exclusive today, guys. A lot of awesome stuff. And of course, we do the show live, uncut. We do some bonus coverage, bonus footage, sometimes bonus segments. Plus, we like to answer your questions. So we'll get to your questions at the break and at the end of the show. So leave your comments throughout the show. Occasionally, we will bring in a question if it's something that we haven't thought of or something we do want to address live. But most of the time, we're not ignoring you. We're just waiting until the break to answer those questions, or we
Yep.
may be ignoring you if we don't address you because we ignore people all the time. But so make sure to hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff that our YouTuber tells you what to do. And I'm sure you know how to do it by now. I'm not going to waste my time on that, even though I just did. But Scott, you ready to dive into this one? Because this is going to
Ready
be
to
a fun
dive in? Yeah, I just had to listen upstairs. I hear my dog whining upstairs for some reason. So, hopefully he settles down and
What are
I don't
you
have to go
doing
deal
to
with
it?
him in the middle of the show.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
if so, wouldn't be the first time. That's all right. All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 211 of Let Me Get That Potograph. My name, of course, is Drew or the DH, and joining me, my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What up, dude?
Same shit, different day. It's so cold down here in my office
It's
that
freaking cold
I,
everywhere.
dude, I am wearing a jacket.
I am
Um,
too.
well, yeah, dude, you don't cold like being up in Chicago the last week or so has been absolutely insane.
No,
From a
I
temperature
know,
standpoint,
but
and
it's been
yeah.
freezing here too. It's cold enough, bro. When you get into the teens, it's cold. So
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
exactly. Like we struggled to get to single digits for like 3 or 4 days.
No, I hear you. What's up, Ziggy? How's it going? And welcome everybody. We are, of course, live on YouTube and Twitter today as well. And guys, we're live every single week, so make sure to tune in. We try and give you a heads up of when we do it, but it's always around 11:30, 11:45 ish when we do start. But Scott, we've got an awesome show today, man. We have
We
a
do indeed.
huge exclusive that we're going to get to here in just a little bit. Regarding some stuff that we've covered for a long time that it's quite eye-opening, and I highly recommend everybody check out that here in just a minute. But Scott, we got to start with the topic that took over the entire hobby this week and is one of the fun, and I'm so glad it did because it gave me the chance to laugh at so many stupid people.
All
So
right.
many. So
So
many.
of course, we were talking about the discovery that was made that the 2023 Bowman Draft Tom Brady picture on the card was photoshopped. Dun dun
Oh, dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
All right, dude. Here's the deal. Of course, it was photoshopped.
No shit.
Yes, Tom Brady was drafted by the Expos.
Yeah.
No, Tom Brady never went to spring training.
Never put a jersey
Never
on.
put a jersey on. Never did anything. Never signed a contract. None of that.
No.
How else do you think that they were going to get that picture?
Exactly. Like that. How? And I just love the amount of people that. Well, first off, how do you think you're gonna get that picture? Let's take it from there first. Like that's just obviously you have to Photoshop something.
Yeah.
Anyone that didn't think this card wasn't Photoshopped from the get go, I I don't even understand that thought process. I'm sorry. Like it
Entirely
has to
sure.
be.
I'm not entirely sure how that happens either.
Yeah, like it has to be. But the amount of people I saw this comment and it cracked me up the amount of people that agreed with it. People said, now that it's been photoshopped, uh, it's going to lose its value. It means nothing. The card is worthless. It's going to plummet in value. Blah, 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 blah. Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, yeah, okay, it's been 6 minutes. All right. Are you fucking kidding me?
These are
Seriously?
some of the. Well, look, you can go on, and not even about this particular card, but you can go on to just pick a random thread that somebody posted about something, and there's always going to be some idiot posting that the sky is falling,
But this was a
the
lot.
values are plummeting, the bubble burst, the whatever you think of. But this is
The
not,
funniest part though about
this is
that
not
is
that.
it's always the funniest part about that is it's always the people that aren't buying the card. You know what I mean? It's always
Yeah.
the people. It's never the people buying it because the guy that paid over 15 grand for the gold 2 days after this came out, yeah, he didn't really
Didn't
give a shit.
care.
You know,
Yeah,
because he's
didn't give
actually
a
the
shit.
one buying it. It's really easy to shit on stuff that you're not even going to buy that you already
The guy that
dislike.
put out the $500,000 bounty on 12 of 50 auto,
Right.
did he resend the bounties
Yeah.
since this pop up? No.
No,
No, he didn't.
and I'm
Does
gonna
he?
give you
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a lot of people some breaking news here that most people should know, but 95% of every first Bowman that you see is photoshopped heavily.
Yeah.
95%.
Yeah.
And if you don't, a couple of years ago, we had Bobby Witt's first Bowman. Well, guess what? It's not Bobby Witt's face.
No.
So it's not the first time they've done it. It's not something special. It's shit they do all the time. If you
Dude,
take
stuff has been airbrushed and things
Yes.
like that since the 40s at least, if not longer.
Exactly. Like
This is not new.
No. And it's not going to devalue the card. It's not going to make it any less of a demand than it already is. I mean,
Yeah.
the card is going to remain the same. Everything is going to remain the same because the only people that give a shit about this and want to complain about this are the people that aren't buying it anyway. Like I said,
and I'll tell you, one of my
It means
favorite
nothing.
cards of all time was airbrushed.
Yes.
It's a 1976 Topps traded Oscar Gamble.
Yep.
And they airbrushed the Yankees logo and the pinstripes on the jersey for that card.
Yeah.
And they would have photoshopped it, but Photoshop didn't exist back then.
Exactly.
So, look, they've been doing this with cards for years.
Yes.
For decades. Potentially over a century.
There's literally articles you can Google that just talk about like airbrushed and photoshopped cards. Like you can find them. There's lots of very, very common ones, and it's very extremely common, especially with Bowman. Like I said, Bowman every year has probably more Photoshop than anything because every first Bowman almost, besides like most of the ones that aren't Photoshopped mostly are the ones where they're just standing there. If they're any type of action shot, anything like that, they're Photoshop guaranteed.
Yeah.
And some of the ones just standing there, could easily be that. But, the whole thing just blew up. Like, I didn't think it would blow up. I thought people would see this and say, oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. We know where the original pick came from. But instead, it turned into this just wild, just the sky is falling. Look at what they're doing to the hobby. This is the worst thing ever. Like, guys.
It's not the worst thing ever. There's
No.
nothing wrong with it.
No, there's. How else were they gonna make the card?
Why?
That's what I come back to. How else you can make?
We shouldn't even be discussing this. This shouldn't even be a thing.
No.
And the only reason we're talking about it is because, okay, great. It's Darren Fletcher on, that's whose pick they used to Photoshop. Okay, great. Great for Darren Fletcher. Well, here's the thing. So the only reason we're talking about it is because some people got all pissed off about it for no reason whatsoever. And then everybody else, do you know how many videos? I just did a quick search on it before we popped on live. Do you know how many people have made videos and crap of this covering it? Yes. Like, oh my God, it's the biggest news story in it. No, it's not. No. Tom Brady never played for the Expos. He never signed a contract. All he did was he got drafted.
Yeah.
Never put on your. How the hell else do you think they were going to get the picture?
Exactly. And I just, if anything, to me, this almost helps the card because now you've got, it adds to the lore of this card. Because one thing that I love about the hobby, screw value, screw all this other stuff that everyone wants to talk about all the time. Let's go back to the nuts and bolts of the hobby. Collecting cards, loving cards, and that's it. Okay, the story of a card and things like that matter to collectors. Frank Thomas, No Names, all types of these weird stories that come out, about cards that make them a little more in demand for collectors and things that make it, a little more interesting, cool facts. You've got all the cards with the John Morant card that has 800 celebrities in the background, these ending up kind of iconic-ish cards, maybe not value-wise, but in the hobby. Now you've got the Tom Brady card, the Expos card, his Bowman card, his first baseball card. You add into the lore of it's not him, it's a Photoshop pic of this. Yeah. It adds a story to the card. And the hobby is built on stories. And if anything, why wouldn't it just help it? It adds to, the interestingness, I guess, if that's a word, of the card.
So here's what I want to know. How long until somebody takes one of the base variations, non-autograph of that card, and has Darren Fletcher sign it?
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe inscribe it with
coming.
Inscribe it. Tom Brady's head, my body. Or something along those lines. And
if I'm Topps, I would sign Darren Fletcher and put out a Darren Fletcher Brady football card.
Actually, that would be actually be really funny.
That's what I would do.
Photoshop Darren Fletcher's head on Tom Brady's body and put out the card.
Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it, man.
So,
real quick, we normally don't answer comments until the end or the end of the show or on break, but there is one that I want to ask you, Scott, because I know you've been following it. It's from the Card Hunter on YouTube.
Okay.
The 12 of 50 auto you mentioned earlier. It's still live. Bounty is still live. Is there an expiration on that?
No, they said no expiration on that.
Okay. All right.
And it's surprising that that card has not been pulled yet.
I'm not surprised because I know 100%, and we'll get into that in here in just a few minutes about how ridiculous some stuff is. They were not putting that out in the first wave. Now I am shocked that some of the other inscribed ones weren't, but no, I expected this one to be later on down the line, not a day one hit.
And that's it. But that's the thing, though.
And they can control that easily.
Oh no! Supposedly.
No, they can't.
They don't know where it is because once it's put into the machines to pack it out, they're not supposed to know where anything is.
Yeah. Okay.
So if that's the case, then in theory, with the amount that's been opened, I mean, the Superfractor auto got pulled day one.
Well, exactly, and that's great.
Yeah, and you know what I haven't seen either?
Everyone's chasing. There's no bounty on that.
I haven't seen the orange 12 out of 25 with the other inscription. That hasn't popped yet either.
Nope. I have a feeling they will soon.
Yeah. So,
but anyway,
we'll see what happens.
So anyway, we'll see. But guys, if you're one of those people that was up in arms about this Brady, calm the fuck down. I think that's probably a good time to end that segment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of calming the fuck down.
Yeah.
All right. So last week's show, we talked about the backdoored 2021 Bowman auto.
And you guys have heard all the other stories that we've talked about,
Yes.
the stuff from the Arizona Fall League, all the issues with autograph production through Topps this year.
Yes. Now, you got something big.
Yeah. All right.
You had a conversation with somebody.
Yes. Cannot reveal the name.
Nope.
I will be revealing some very interesting pictures on our Instagram later today that are quite shocking, that will explain some of these text messages here in just a minute. But got to have a conversation with a person that used to work at Fanatics and Topps, and they are following the James Wood autograph scandal that we talked about as well. Well, he decided, and I have full permission to share this, made sure everything was okay, and he was more than happy to say, yes, go right ahead. So he says, I'm following this as well. All I can think of was when I was there, the office was massive, shared building on multiple floors. So it was open floor with a bunch of companies sharing the workspace. I sent out tons of cards to be signed, but when they came back, they would go into a shipping room that literally had cards everywhere. Loose piles of autographed cards all over the place. The shipping room was used for lunches, meetings, etc. And I know people were always going through cards, checking them out. That included people who didn't necessarily have any reason to be involved in touching cards at all. It was a very tempting environment, to say the least. The pictures that we'll provide later will explain that part a little bit more. And he goes on to say, the promotion team takes tons of cards on the road, some for giveaways like trivia contests, etc. There's more than a few people who have access to those cards and whose job is to hand stuff out like prizes, replacements, and so on, who literally know nothing about the cards themselves. Anytime stuff like this happens, I wonder if the person just saw a card and grabbed it with good intentions, but really had no business touching it in the first place. And I said, I wonder if these were set for destruction. It would obviously, because they said they were set for destruction, and some made it into a pocket. And his response was, I would think so. I was shipped out and returned. Then they probably sat on a desk forever until someone either grabbed one because they thought it was cool or it was meant for something else, like a prototype, and somehow it got into the wrong hands. So
now that's the conversation
right there.
All right. So if that's the case, and, let's say somebody from, and like I said, we're just exploring possibilities here. If somebody from the promotions team did grab one and, take it out on the road and gave it out as a prize, that would explain why so far we've only seen one.
Right.
And the whole run, it's very possible that the rest of them could have been destroyed.
I'm going to debunk. I'm going to go on and say that that's absolutely not what happened, considering that this has been out for a week and a half, and Topps hasn't simply said we gave this out as a prize.
Sorry. Well, but they may not have known that they gave it out as a prize, because again, if
that's a problem.
Exactly. But if what he's saying is the case, and the promotions team, sometimes people grab he said sometimes people grab the stuff who have no knowledge of cards.
Yes,
it's very possible that they grabbed one, gave it out as a prize, didn't even realize it, and gave it out as a prize 2 years ago, and it just never popped up. Because look, the whole story behind this card was supposedly the guy said that it came out of a pack.
Right.
It did not come out of a pack.
No.
Now, it is possible.
No, this is guaranteed it hasn't come from a pack.
No. But here's the thing, though. I was thinking about this after we talked about it last week. It is possible that it came out of a repacked product.
Very, very.
And
possible.
if that's the case, then the guy could have said, "Oh, it came out of a pack," not realizing that it was a repack product.
Right.
Or just confusing the two, or whatever the case is. That's a possibility.
Yes.
But the bottom line is there's so many ways now, that we're finding out about this, and you'll definitely check out the Instagram page later once Drew posts those pictures.
Yes,
Because
I'm
these
going to
things
post
are,
some photos. You need to see the photos of
yes,
this room and what cards are literally just sitting on a table. And this is where I want to go with this. And this is where I wanted to talk about this, not just what he said, but it confirms what I've been saying for a long time. And I've reached out to Tops. I've reached out to multiple people I know there. I'm hoping to have either an interview here or a conversation with them, the people in charge of handling these autographs and the
yeah,
production issue of the production method of these autographs. Because just like I said last week, this proves right here there is a major fucking problem when it comes
yeah,
to the chain of command that these cards go through.
yep,
Now, and autographs in particular, because they're a little different, especially ones that have to be sent out, stuff like that. Like, this is insane. Like, the fact that this stuff was done, especially during the peak era. Oh, God, can you imagine what's out there from the peak era that we don't know about? The amount of stuff that can easily have been stolen from that room, especially
yeah.
when you see the pictures that I post.
And
It is
especially when you find out in the text that it's not just Tops employees that have access to it, it's
yes,
people from other companies. It's like a shared space.
it's
Um,
insanity.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
insanity. And
Absolutely
so
crazy.
and
So,
it's something that needs to be changed, because look, this is not just a Tops problem, because now the room and everything that I'm going to post a picture of is absolutely just a Tops problem. I don't think Panini has a room like that. I'd like to know if they do. I don't know for sure, but Panini's had their issues we talked about last week.
mhm,
They can't even get stickers. Okay, they've got their issues, but the entire chain of command at the production facility, which Tops owns, Fanatics owns now,
yeah,
which produces Tops and Panini, there is so many major flaws in there right now. And there's flaws when it comes to the people that are actually doing the in-person signings. We're seeing major issues and massive theft at all of these different areas. I mean, my God, 90%. I mean, dude, this year, in the past year and a half, almost every single story revolving fakes and everything like that has been done by the companies, not
mhm,
some group of people that are making a bunch of fake autographs and doing an Operation Bullpen type bullshit. It's the freaking companies.
yeah,
And that's a problem.
yep.
Like, I'm
That's a
sorry,
huge,
that is a
huge problem.
major problem.
Yeah. I guess there was something with some Kyle Kuzma fake autos that popped up
Oh,
recently
there's
too.
some stuff with some Kyle Kuzma autos, and there's some people that, I mean, come on. I'm not, I don't want to comment on that story right now outside of, yeah, that if you haven't seen it, just look up the Kyle Kuzma autographs. But yeah, some major stuff going on there with fakes, and people trying to sell some fakes. And just where did they come from? How did this happen? What's the true story? What's all of this? All of this stuff could be prevented
Yeah,
if you do an overhaul. You take an outside company, you take a consulting firm, you have them come in, you look at your operations, you fucking put some cameras somewhere, my God, and figure out where the problems are and do what you're supposed to do when you're a multi-billion dollar a year freaking
yeah,
company, and improve your process when there's clear theft of multiple different areas. Arizona Fall League theft. We've got theft. We've got the fake Austin Meadows Arozarena. That was done absolutely at Tops, probably by the same person who signed Santa Claus.
yep.
Then
Same
you've
person who
also,
signed that. Same person who signed the Buzz Lightyear and the
yes,
Woody
and
autos.
Woody and all of
Yep.
those. Yeah, whoever does the Disney ones, absolutely. Same person signed that card. Then you had the other one. I can't remember the other fake one that was done by the same signature in baseball. There was another one, Chad. I'm sure you guys know. And then we have this now where massive production flaws all the way down to stolen cards, cards that shouldn't exist, cards that should have been destroyed. And then we get the news that we have right here, where literally multiple companies have access to it. For God's sake, they're having lunch meetings, sitting around looking through the cards. You wonder why your cards come out as 7s and 6s and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, you've got people that are sitting there having lunch. They're just taking a look at your fucking cards. Like that's literally what's going on with these autographs that are being sent back. And it really pisses me off. I know a lot of people have talked to me and they've said personally, you know, like, why do you care so much? Because I love this damn hobby.
Yeah.
And this is ridiculous. If you're going to, this company is going to be the future of this hobby for a long time. I would like them to do a damn good job. I would like them to fix the problems, and I'd like to not have to worry about and talk about a bunch of shit that's stolen and all this. It's ridiculous to say that every massive story revolving theft or forgery has revolved around a company and not some guy out on the side.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
No, I would agree. It is absolutely insane. And hopefully, you know, our discussion on this. Yeah, I mean, hopefully our discussion on this, you know, is going to spur some changes.
Well, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop until they address it and until they do something to fix it. And I don't care if people get annoyed. You can skip that part of the show. I'm going to continue to address it when these screw ups happen, and we're going to continue to talk about it on this show because I'm going to do anything I can to spurn that change. This stuff needs to be fixed. You can make all the cool announcements and all the cool signings and all these neat Tom Brady Photoshop cards and all this stuff that you want, but fix the problems you have. Yeah. So when collectors are spending $700, $800, $1,000 on a freaking box, they know that A, the stuff might be real, and B, all the cards that are supposed to be in the box could be in the fucking box.
Yep.
Because we've already,
and like I said, all we're asking for is that there's a chance that it could be in the box.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it.
Now, I understand every once in a while something's going to happen, but this isn't every once in a while. This is a coordinated effort from 2021 all the way to now.
And I would argue that it's been before 2020.
No, I agree. I'm just saying since we've kind of covered it, would be 2021 to now, and nothing has happened, and that's a problem to me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things happening,
we're
going to take a break because we need to make things happen as well.
Sweet transition.
And for the guys on the podcast, we'll be right back after these messages. For those of you watching on YouTube, well, hey, you get some bonus content.
Boom.
All right.
There you go. So I got my rant out of the way. What's up, guys? Definitely. Thank you. We got a lot of people watching the show today, probably some from Twitter and Facebook, or YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, my dog has not stopped whining upstairs. Why don't you go ahead and address some of these comments while
go check on the
YouTube.
Dog.
I'm gonna pop the camera off and mute, and then I'll be back in a second as soon as I find out what the hell's going on.
Sounds good. Hurry up. All right, so Scott's gonna go make sure he didn't put the choke chain on too tight. Hope doggy's okay. I'm just fucking with him, but So let's see. Got some comments here. Yeah, Ziggy, the Volt debut live as well. And bounties definitely on Topps Fanatics products. It's very there's a calculated reason for that, and I'm sure you know it, and we're probably thinking the same thing. There are going to be some on some Panini products, especially when you get to certain cards that are going to be coming up as Panini ends the licenses and stuff transitions to other things. You know, you're going to see some come out, but no, most of them are going to be on the Topps Fanatics products. And, we'll see what happens. But let's see. Christopher Brent or Daniel Rodriguez. Cards have gotten to where they're worth thousands of dollars. Exactly. But left out like free donuts on Fridays at work. I'm telling you guys, when you see these pictures, I've got these pictures. I'm going to hold them up right here on the phone. You won't be able to see them. But I've got about 4 or 5 pictures here that are all of this office. As you can see, I will put the screen. You can see there's the door to the actual office. This is the room. You can't really see it, but we'll try and give you as good of a shot as you can. And then you see, where is it? And then you see the big problem. Stuff like this is laid out where it's literally a box of autographs to be signed in blue ink that it says. And then where's the good one that just makes me shake my head and think that people are absolutely absurd. Like, I can't believe that this is how this is done. But this stuff is literally just left out laying there on a table. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah.
These are ones I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah. Just it's crazy. Cards left out on the table. One of them's a duel, Julio and Edgar. You've got Ivan Rodriguez out of 5, Julio out of 1. You've got just crazy stuff. You've got a Ronald Acuna blank auto museum. Like the pictures you're going to see that we're gonna post as a teaser to this episode are absolutely crazy.
All right.
Dog, okay?
So speaking of episodes, yeah, my dog's being an asshole is still whining upstairs. So let's get through these next 2 segments so I can go take him outside.
Yeah, I got shit I gotta do. So I'll let you bring us back.
Okay. All right. You ready? All right. And we are back. Thanks for listening to that. And if you want to check out the bonus content with some really good stuff, pop over to the YouTube channel and watch the video because Drew shared some photos. Some
as
stuff
best
we're
I
talking about.
could. As best I could.
But you'll see him on Instagram as well, so keep an eye out for that.
You'll see him.
All right, so we have got the NFL playoffs that just got done with the wild card round. We got the divisional round coming up this weekend. Some surprising things have happened. Obviously, the biggest surprise was Eagles lost, Cowboys lost.
Yeah.
All right.
And I am 1 win away from the most ridiculous futures bet win ever. All I need is the Lions, baby. I picked the Lions before the season started to make the NFC Championship game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just need 1 win. I've never cheered for the Lions in my life, and I never will again. But go Lions, because it's a payout.
Nice. All right. So obviously, let's talk about the Eagles losing to Tampa Bay. That's a big one, and that's a big one for the hobby because
huge.
Quarterback of Tampa Bay is, of course, Baker Mayfield, who was one of the most highly touted prospects coming out of college. His stuff
could have
was
done
selling
this when he played with us.
I know his stuff was selling for ridiculous amounts of money, and then it crashed.
Yeah, then he played football.
Yeah, then he played football, and it crashed. Now, he goes up against one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yep.
And he wins. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of that is the defense. Tampa's defense put up an absolutely amazing game.
Yeah, they
did. In fact, and
Baker led them through the whole second half, where they literally were fighting for their life after a muddling start. I mean, they're in the NFC South, so I follow them heavily. Obviously.
Well, look, their defense played so well that game.
Yeah,
that they basically had Jason Kelsey being like, "All right, fuck it, I'm out."
Yeah, no, he was
done.
He was done. He checked out.
Look, we poke fun at that one. Just frankly, I think he wants to hang out with Taylor Swift during the season, so I
don't blame him.
Retired. Obviously he spends more time with his brother and watching the Chiefs and hanging out with his brother.
Well, they've also got a podcast that they're going to make millions from, and he's played for a long time. He's got his ring,
for a lineman, for especially a center, those guys get beat to hell.
Exactly.
And he's had a long career for for that position and stuff like that. But anyway, are we starting to see a resurgence of Baker Mayfield?
I think we are. I think you're going to see Baker. I don't think he's in Tampa next year. I think he goes somewhere else. I think this year you're going to see so much quarterback movement. There's a lot of quarterback contracts that are up. There's a lot of people that were 1 or 2 year stopgaps that are up. You've
Yep.
also got a very deep draft class when it comes to quarterbacks and position players. This draft is absurd. And I think you're going to see Baker sign on. I look at Baker as a guy with a ceiling of maybe a Drew Brees, like
Okay.
not as good of a quarterback when his career ends, but where he could like
Yeah.
up his game to would be maybe at a Brees level on a team like that. But
I would
I,
take
and
I
I
would
and
take
I
I
do
would take that.
and I do think that you're going to see a resurgence of Baker. I don't think it's going to be in Tampa. I don't think Tampa wants their quarterback of the future because they are, really kind of in a
Yeah.
rebuild. They bounced into the playoffs because the Saints can't play football to save their life. They want that young quarterback. They want that guy. Baker's not going to be that guy in Tampa, but I think he can easily find a team to play on. And if he can, I think Baker, a lot like Geno, I think he's one of those guys that needed time and needs the right system. You
Yeah.
put Baker in the right system, and I think he's going to flourish. But the big thing about this postseason, man, you've got these teams out now. The amount of new stars that are going to be created, even in losses, but just
Yep.
from this playoff run, because obviously only two teams can make it to the Super Bowl, only one can win. But all of these players that are making household names of themselves that are not quarterbacks, that you're seeing people, well, some are quarterbacks, but you're seeing people actually chase the positional players. Puka, for example, showing right away that this dude is 1000% legit,
Yep.
can play, going to be a guy for the future, someone you should go after. CJ Stroud proving that this kid is legit and the Panthers are fucking morons.
Yep.
There's a lot of people in this postseason that are going to get massive bumps in the hobby. And you're seeing the positional players really start to get a lot more love than they have in the past. I love the fact that we're into the playoffs now. Jordan Love again. I think Jordan Love could be the big winner out of all this. I think going into next year, unless he has a 3-4 interception game, win or lose this next game, I think
Which they're
Jordan
playing.
Love,
They're playing San Francisco, right?
yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yeah. Which is
win or
very
lose,
possible. It is
win
very
or
possible
lose,
against their defense. They
okay,
could
but
win
win or
four
lose,
games.
I think Jordan Love comes out of this as the biggest winner hobby wise, because I think going into next year, when Green Bay has decent draft capital, they've shown they've got some players now. They've got some people at some skill positions that they did not have before. They've got a lot of work to do. But Jordan Love, I think, is showing that okay, he can play. Now, Stroud, he's going to have his love. He's also going to have that sophomore dip because people are going to have a year of film. So let's see what
Well, people
happens.
people are gonna have a year of film, but they're also, as far as the hobby is concerned, at that point he's old news because
Right. Yeah,
you
there's
got
other
Caleb Williams,
quarterbacks.
Marvin Harrison Jr., and
Yeah. The only other
Penix.
person I could see getting a bigger bump than Jordan Love would possibly be Brock Purdy or CMC if they win the Super Bowl and one of them just goes ape shit for MVP. But I think in Purdy's case, I think it's almost already baked in.
Yeah,
McCaffrey's case, I think if he just takes over the playoffs and leads
McCaffrey
them,
is still so undervalued right
yeah,
now
that's where I'm
from a
saying if
hobby
he
standpoint.
wins the Super Bowl MVP, if it's clear as day that it's not Brock Purdy, but it's CMC that wins the Super Bowl for
Yeah,
the 49ers, I could see him possibly getting a little bit more love. But I don't see any winner bigger than Jordan Love. I think Baker is a good one, and I think Baker is going to establish himself as a quarterback worth collecting again and
well,
worth chasing after.
I think Baker's probably the biggest one, but only because you know his stuff was so high, and then it just completely tanked.
Well,
But
yeah, he had
now,
nowhere to go but really
no,
up,
but now he's shown that he can actually get the job done.
Yeah.
And
And
even if they
you do
don't make
have
it
you do
past
have
the first
your
weekend,
you do have your established guys as well, Lamar Jackson, people like that. And I think Lamar, if Lamar wins the Super Bowl, I think that I don't know, I kind of think it's baked in maybe going into next year he has a little bit more hype, but he would have to win if he wins Super Bowl MVP and MVP.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Then maybe I could see a little bit of a bump, but I already think most people that are collecting and buying his cards think of him as one of the top in the league. I know I do. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of that is baked in, and that's where I don't think it is with Jordan Love. People are very, very trepid on Jordan Love. For Hobby News Daily, I do a hot chart where I follow the total sales, the total searches, the total hobby searches, everything for the top 10 players in the league.
Yep.
Jordan Love has been on the outside of that for a long time and is just now creeping into it. Like, people are still very hesitant on wanting to believe him. But lately, in the last 2-3 weeks, it's skyrocketed. And that's where I think he's the one that probably ends up coming out a winner. But
That's probably true.
But one thing's for sure, we're going to have a lot of new super hobby, and I think it's awesome because the NFL hobby needs it. It needs to expand past just the upper echelon of quarterbacks, and I predicted it, and I think this is what the reason is. Those guys are so high, people still are going to collect. You go to that next tier, and now we're seeing them go after the people that I think should have been being collected a long time ago.
No, I agree. Now, all right. So speaking of people that should have been collected a long time ago,
yeah,
we'll talk about it in our final segment today. This is actually a cool one. I like this.
Oh, this one's awesome.
So,
this was great.
Let's talk about MJ Melendez for a minute.
MJ Melendez,
who was a very highly touted prospect.
Huge.
With the Royals. And of course, he's with the Royals. So limited market, but again, good player.
Yes.
So there are 2 1-of-1 cards that he had in the Topps World Baseball Classic product that was recently released.
Yeah.
And he posted pictures of both of them. They look like they're sitting on a countertop. And it looks like he probably took the pictures right after he signed them before he sent them back to Topps.
Yeah.
And props for him for sending them back to Topps.
Yeah. Good job.
Because he just put out a bounty last week. It says, and he put this out on Twitter, whoever pulls these cards whenever they come out, I will personally fly you out to a game and make you a trade for the card.
It's so
right.
So
now, cool. I mean, look, if he really, really wanted the card, he could have just, pulled a Giannis and stashed it in his collection. But I think there's something beyond this. So I look, it's a really cool. On one hand, it is awesome. MJ Melendez is going to fly you to a game and is going to work out a deal to trade you.
And that trade's going to be awesome for you.
Yeah. You know the trade's going to be a good deal. Plus, you get the free trip and all that kind of stuff. On the other hand, it's a Royals game. So, I don't know. And Topps put that out there.
What you do is you hold out and you wait until they're playing a good team or there's like a team worth watching, and you go maybe the Dodgers, and you go watch Ohtani and them.
No, exactly, and that's the thing. So Topps took his tweet and posted it, and I made a comment. The exact same thing, and I'm getting all sorts of grief from guys like, hey, look, there's other teams you can go watch and play. I'm like, well, one, if MJ Melendez is flying you to a game, you're kind of going to be forced at that point to watch the Royals and root for the Royals. But 2, it's a fucking joke, people.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seriously, what happened to people said these are the same people that are probably bitching about the Tom Brady being photoshopped.
It's the exact same people.
It's a joke.
Freaking joke.
Just like the Royals. MJ, I don't know if he listens to the show or watches the show, but look, man, all props to you on this.
Yes.
I don't, look, it's fun to make fun of the Royals.
But no,
it's all in good fun. It's
it's fun to make fun of the Royals. It is. It's a thing. Hey, they get it, and it's baseball. He's gonna play for 20 teams by the time his career's over. So I mean, he might just. It's not like he cares.
I'd love to see him with the Cubs.
Yeah, right. But no, I just
Yeah.
love the bounty. I love the idea. I think it's awesome. And this is one of those things. A lot of these things we're seeing players do, Tops is doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tops is incentivizing them. Tops is setting this up. This is different. This is Corbin Carroll, type of stuff where he's going to PSA and picking up his own 101. This
Yep.
is the guy who says, okay, these two cards mean a lot to me. And I can see why. One of them is a game used baseball signed by him next to the game used baseball piece with the World
Yep.
Baseball Classic logo in it. Beautiful card. And the other one is looks from his jersey.
It's the World Baseball Classic logo patch
Yeah.
from his jersey.
And they're from Dynasty, which is a beautiful product. He's obviously a collector because he's offering to make a trade. So he knows Dynasty being one of the higher end products.
Well, but no, I think these didn't come from Dynasty. I think it's Dynasty design, but they came from the World Baseball Classic product.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But no, but it shows also how much the World Baseball Classic means to him.
Yeah.
And that he would like these as a way to remember moments, just like we like to collect these to remember moments.
Yep.
He wants these to remember the moment, the time he had at probably one of the best World Baseball Classics ever.
Yep.
And I think it's awesome in a time where we talk about bounties and stupid bounties and just absurdity to pump a product and things like that. Bounties like this is just awesome. This is cool. This is the way it should be done. I love it. I can't wait to see who pulls them. I hope it's a kid that grabs one. I hope, I really hope they document it. I hope it's, taken care of, which I'm pretty sure Tops will now. They'll find a way to document it now. But this is really cool. If you do pull one, definitely come on the show. I want to know the experience after you did it. But what an awesome thing to do.
This is one of those things that's bringing the fun back to the hobby.
Yes.
And it's just, I'm excited to see more stuff like this. So, big props to MJ Melendez for leading the way on this.
Yeah. And hopefully more athletes get involved like this. And you're seeing more, like I said, Carroll going to PSA. He's doing a lot of trades with people. Bobby Witt handing out PSA slabs to kids who want autographs. Lots of these athletes doing this type of stuff. Hopefully, it continues and we get to see a lot more of it because, like you said, it brings the fun back to the hobby. It brings you closer to the athlete. And obviously, that's ultimately what we want. So,
exactly.
Props to MJ Melendez. Excellent, excellent bounty. And I'm excited to see what happens when they're pulled.
No, exactly. So am I. Speaking of continuing.
Yep.
I can't continue any longer today.
Understandable.
Dog is driving me absolutely nuts. I can hear it through the ceiling in my office down here. So I have got to jet, but it's a great way to end the show on a high note.
All right. Well,
MJ.
Yes, we will wrap up today's show. Before we go, do want to thank our awesome, awesome sponsors. Denver Card Show, Show Your Slab, Slab Strong Card Ladder, Zion Cases. Could not do the show without you guys, along with stand-up displays and Game Time Sports Cards. Thank you guys so much. Could not do it, like I said, without you guys. We have a bunch of really cool stuff coming up, some awesome announcements. I'm going to put those photos up of all the information that we talked about today. I'm going to put them up on Instagram, so they'll be up by the time you hear this in audio form or watch this if you're not watching it live. Once again, you can check out the show live every single week when we record it over on YouTube and sometimes Twitter and either Instagram, sometimes, but always on YouTube. But great episode as always, my man. But until next week, guys, you know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace. All right, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, all right. Give me a shout later, and we'll talk about the thing we talked about before the show.
All right. Will do. Thank you.
See ya.
All right. So, guys, I'll if there are any questions while Scott bounces, I will feel free to take them. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 211 today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm going to go drop those pictures right now as a preview of this week's episode. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Quite interesting. But if you guys could push this stuff, like make Tops aware of this, like we need to have stuff change. This shit cannot continue. I'm sorry, guys. I care about this hobby a lot. And I want this hobby to thrive. I don't want this hobby to die. I don't want this hobby to end. And the only way that it's going to help is if it's not only shared, like the episode, that helps a ton, but also sharing and talking about the point, talking about what needs to be changed, demanding that change, because we can do it. Like it can easily be done to where they're forced to have to do this out of just pure pressure from us. And that's hopefully what we can do. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I agree. He could easily, like I said, I think he needs Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl win, and MVP. We'll see what happens. But I still think in the end, Jordan Love is going to be your big winner, win or lose, hobby wise, at least going into next year. But we'll see. But thank you guys so much. And we will be back next week. Lots of cool stuff coming up. So make sure to check it out. New article up on Hobby News Daily next week. Another installment of Iconic Inserts. We are going to either baseball or football this week. Haven't decided yet. But we got a cool one for either or, whichever we decide. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace. Now it's the fun part where I don't know when it